Today's gonna be my first flight with the Mini 3, and we just wanna talk about some of the things that I really love about this drone, some of the opportunities as a first-time Mavic Mini owner, and I think a lot of discussion around the RC, this RC, the Pro RC, I think is what we're calling it. What's going on, guys? Welcome back to my channel. My name is Eddie Nunez and I am a content creator here in New York City, and I love to, fly drones, whether it's FPV, GPS drones, and of course the creativity around cameras. And today I'm in Brooklyn. Quite a foggy day, but we have here 3 drones. We have the Air 2S, we have the Mavic 3 Cine with the RC Pro, and then we have the Mini 3 Pro as well. And we're gonna be talking a lot about this today. Today's gonna be my first flight with the Mini 3. All right, so we are gonna go on our maiden flight. We're gonna keep it visual line of sight, literally, right over us here. I'm powering on the RC here. This RC, again, it's just fantastic. I mean, the screen quality on this, 700 nits. I can't really tell a difference between the RC Pro and the RC Pro that comes with the Mavic 3, and then this RC that comes with the Mini is just really, really nice screen. And then the little Mini, the Mini itself, the Mini 3. And let me tell you that it looks much bigger online than it does in person. I mean, in person, it's the same size as the Minis, like any of the Minis, right? The Mini 1, the Mini 2, and it feels just like a Mini. That's the big difference that I noticed right away. This video, by the way, I'm just doing straight video, no Cine-like, obviously no filters, right? Everything is gonna be shot straight out of camera. And this is like my first impression video. So this is really my first flight that I'm doing with this drone today. And at the end, right, we're gonna take it up now for some video, and at the end, I'm gonna give you my overall impressions coming from someone who flies professional DJI drones such as the Inspire 2, the Phantom 4 Pro, all the Mavics, right? The Mavic 2 Pro, the Mavic Pro, the first one, and then the Mavic 3 Cine. And now this cute little thing right here. So let's power the Mini 3 on, and she boots up just like any other drone here. And immediately after boot up, we're gonna connect to the RC. And GPS lock is one of those things that I noticed right away, such a significant difference between the Mavic 3. The Mavic 3 initially, has some GPS issues, and it still does. The Mini 3, look, I'm at 7. I know I should be screen recording, but I don't have a SD card in this controller. The next videos will be much better. But I'm already at nine satellites. Probably can't see this. Let's see if you could. 9 here. The next, like I said, next video I'll screen record. This is just an impromptu flight that I'm doing today. But 9 satellites right away, 11, I got a GPS home lock already, and you know, really, really fast. So let's go up for our first flight and let's first test the noise. That's one of the things that everybody's been talking about this drone, that the noise pitch on this is quieter than any other drone. So let's really check that out. So there you go, guys. That's the Mini 3 Pro, and it is quiet, I think. I mean, look, I'm standing right underneath it, and very, very quiet. Very quiet. I'm getting, this is, just to mention something really quick, this is not the standard battery, this is the upgraded battery. So my remote is saying that I got 44 minutes left of flight time, and I'm at 97% right now. So this is the larger capacity battery, just to put that out there. So as I'm flying this drone, I'm staying like right above the water here. Because of the fog conditions, I don't want to, you know, have any issues. And I also want to maintain the drone in visual line of sight. I have my spotter here with me today as well, just as an FYI, but the winds today as well is pretty calm. There's not much wind. I think the winds are about 8 to 10 miles per hour, and she is flying fantastic for a Mini. Like really, really fantastic. I'm in normal mode now, so this is not in sports mode and not in Cine mode, so just in normal mode. But let's get this flight in, and I'll come back to you with some impressions of this Mavic Mini. All right, so I am still on the first battery here, and I've been flying for about 30 minutes, and I still have 12 minutes left, 34%. Right now I'm doing a hyperlapse here over the water. You got the cars moving, you got the bridge, you have some clouds or fog. The fog really cleared up, so that's why I was able to take advantage and push a little bit further closer to the bridge and maintain visual line of sight along with my spotter. But overall, you know, I think this video by any way, shape, or form, by the way, is structured anyway. I don't have anything scripted. I'm just, you know, free talking based on my first experience. This is a true first flight, first impression. And I have to say, I go back to the control of the remote. The remote, by far, I'm sold on it. I mean, today's kind of a bright day. It's gloomy because of the fog, but I have no problem seeing this remote. Am I in full brightness here? I am in full brightness. I have no issues seeing this screen. And what I really love about this is that it is lightweight. I mean, it feels really light. It feels really, really light compared to the RC Pro. If I had to compare these two without putting it on a scale, I would say the RC Pro is probably 3 times the weight that this RC is. So that to me is a selling factor. I think that every drone every Mavic should come with this remote, whether it's the Air 2S, the Air 3S. I hope the next version of the Air 3 should come with this. The Mavic 3 should have came with this remote as an option, standard, especially at that price point, but it didn't, right? We have it here with the Mini 3 Pro. So today I used this drone for the first time, like I mentioned, right? And I shot everything in standard color profile. So this is 4K with no filters on, right? I don't even know if there's filters for this drone available yet. No filters on, 4K, all standard picture profile. Everything was on auto, so all the settings were on auto, no problem with that. And I got to do some vertical videos, some regular videos, did a hyperlapse, which I'm doing right now, and took some photos, all which I'll demonstrate here as I'm talking. And I'm impressed overall. You know, what really shocks me is the signal penetration that this remote is providing to the Mini back and forth without having antennas. The fact that it's built in, right, and I'm still getting perfect signal. Not once did I get a warning saying, you know, low signal or aircraft might return home because of a disconnected. Not once in this urban environment that I'm in with tons of Wi-Fi, tons of interference, didn't have this issue at all. All right, so first impressions, first flight with the Mini 3 Pro. I'm sure you're interested on my thoughts, right, on my overall feedback. As a regular consumer, what do I think about the Mini 3 Pro? This was my first flight, as mentioned, and as the first time flying, there are some pros and cons to this drone that I really love and I wish I really saw on this Mini 3. So for starters, let's start with the good stuff, right, the pros. Number one, if you didn't hear it already from me, is this remote. This remote is absolutely fantastic. I mean, it is so lightweight. It doesn't feel like anything. I like the feel of it in your hands. I mean, it just feels great in your hands. There's something about it. I guess I really have to really take a deep dive on this remote versus the RC Pro, but there's something about this remote that just holding it feels great. I don't know if it's the weight or the fact that the back grips might be different, but the remote is absolutely amazing. I mean, you know, this remote should be sold separately. I don't think that DJI will do that. But if they do, you should definitely pick it up if you have any of the other drones. And of course, if they make this compatible with any of the drones that we have in the market, such as the Air 2S, anything with OcuSync 3, the Air 2S, the Mavic 3, definitely a no-brainer. Now back to the drone, right? Pros about the drone, GPS lock. I mean, I received, my home point got updated almost immediately. I wanna say maybe like 30 seconds in, I had a GPS lock on the Mini 3 Pro, which is fantastic. I know that it's something that a lot of pilots are used to, especially if you have the Air 2S. You might be thinking, well, it's not a big deal. But for me, who has been flying with the Mavic 3 quite often, and that's my go-to drone, it was nice to see the Mini 3 lock in about 30 seconds with about 15 satellites here, you know, in this area that I'm in, which is full of Wi-Fi and a lot of interference, radio interference. Number three, having obstacle avoidance on a mini drone. This is incredible. It kicked in for me several times as I was getting close to objects here around the park, getting close to the trees. There was fog at one point, like really close to me, and I stayed behind the fog. It was picking up the fog. It has downward sensors, and it has, you know, front-facing sensors and rear-facing sensors. The fact that it kicks in and it works really, really good on a mini drone is just absolutely unbelievable. I mean, I was highly impressed the fact that the Mini has these sensors and it functions the way it should. Number four, so far, just based on what I'm seeing on my remote, is this camera. So having an aperture of f1.7, again, with no ND filter, it was coming back to my radio at 1080p. I was recording in 4K, but the signal back to the radio was at 1080p. It was looking so crisp and so sharp that I really have no complaints. Now, it's going to be a different story once I upload this footage to my computer and go through post-processing and really analyze the footage. But I think based on what I'm seeing on the remote, I think it's gonna do well. Again, I mentioned this earlier, I really wanna test this camera at night. Now, favorite feature number 4, number 5, I lost count already because there's so many great things to say about this Mini 3 Pro, is the vertical camera. The fact that you can easily convert, you know, obviously we've seen photos and videos online already with the vertical aspect ratio, right? But just seeing it for yourself as a user, the fact that you can press a button and the camera automatically tilts from horizontal mode, horizon mode into portrait mode, it is absolutely amazing. you can frame your shot. One of the biggest issues I've had with trying to get standard footage from any other drone that I own, right? Whether it's the Mavic 3, the Phantom 4, it doesn't matter. And try to fit it into the aspect ratio is that sometimes when you're shooting in a regular aspect ratio or horizontal aspect ratio, you're not really framing your shot for vertical, or you're not going out there with the intentions probably of reframing into a vertical aspect ratio. So when you sit in your computer and you go through the post-processing, you can obviously, reframe in Premiere or Final Cut Pro or any editor that you may use, DaVinci, but it's just a different feeling when you can convert this camera over to a vertical mode and frame your shot while flying because you're seeing in vertical. So to me, that's a huge selling point. Now, let's talk about some of the things that I did not like about the Mini 3 Pro based on my first initial flights. Number one, and you can't kill me for this, and it's probably very subjective, it feels like a Mini. At the end of the day, I saw a lot of videos online where we're comparing this to Air 2S, we're comparing it to Autel drones. I never owned an Autel drone, so I can't really speak too much on the Autel, but the Air 2S, for example, I have one here that I was trying out and comparing it to. This is a Mini. At the end of the day, this is a Mini drone, and it's a Mini. Although it's a Pro, I think it's called Pro because it has Pro features, and we're seeing a lot of things such as hyperlapse, longer battery life. But at the end of the day, it's not a Pro drone. It's still a Mini drone, and this has a specific audience to it. It's for those content creators that love to upload onto TikTok, Instagram because of the vertical mode. It's for those who want to carry a drone on the go with them at all times. The portability on this is absolutely amazing, right? It's so lightweight. I mean, look, it almost smacked me in the face. That's how lightweight it is. But it's a Mini drone. At the end of the day, it feels like a Mini. It's all plastic. It's just, not the build quality that you expect from an Air 2S or Mini 3. That's my first con. The second con, and this is totally related to this drone itself, is that I was getting some gimbal issues as I was flying against the wind, but I think it's related to this unit. I can feel the gimbal is not smooth, so this unit might have a problem. So don't really count this as a con, but I just want to put it out there that it could be an issue. From a con perspective, that's the only two things that I can mention right now at this point. I don't have anything that I can say at this point about this drone. We're going to continue testing, of course, and we'll continue updating you as we go. So let's continue flying. So there you have it. This is the DJI Mini 3 Pro. Quite a fantastic little drone. So far, I am extremely impressed with this Mini 3 Pro. I can't wait to try it at night. Let me know what questions do you have. Let me know in the comments below. I'm gonna dedicate the next week or so to just filming content. The next video, I'll probably do a video showing you how fast the GPS locks on this versus a Mavic 3. And then I definitely want to do a active track video on my Super 73 at a park and have this drone track me through the park and see how it performs. But if you have any questions or you have any videos that you want me to create or any questions that you want me to answer, just drop them down below. Again, today is really impromptu. I didn't think that I was going to come this morning and fly. And I'm glad I did because the weather turned out to be beautiful and I got to share this content with you today. So thank you for watching, guys. If you're new here, consider subscribing and continue following the journey with the Mini 3 Pro. Until next time, peace.